Welcome back to the Masters of Recon podcast, your top automotive refinishing podcast with your hosts, Corey Kleinfeld
and Ryan Brewer. Enjoy the show, everyone.
Welcome back to the Masters of Recon podcast. This show, as always, is sponsored by RestorFX, and we have another guest that actually owns a center, helps corporate with RestorFX as well. His name is Ryan K. Ryan, not Ryan Brewer. Today on the show, we will have Brewer and Ryan. He has started at dealerships at 16 years old as a detailer, then went to sales, went to school in between there, came back, business finance manager, worked for, I think you rounded off 10 different brands, so most of the major ones, and have basically held, it seemed like when you were telling me just a minute ago, every position there is to hold at a dealership, from detailer up to finance, GMs, all the things. And then 8 years ago, decided to become a vendor himself and started a RestorFX center. And the rest is history from there. So welcome to the show, Ryan. What's going on?
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Glad I could be here. It's exciting. I've been enjoying the podcast, and I'm looking forward to putting my 2 cents in on one.
Yes, fantastic. For those of you that listened to the PDR Coach podcast, I actually had Ryan K on a while back too, and that was one of the and Ryan Brewer back to back. But those were 2 of the most popular episodes that I had towards the end there. And so we're bringing Ryan back on to share a little bit more specific type of knowledge with you guys. So if you want to just start real quick, you said 8 years ago you started the RestorFX Center. Why?
Well, I've been in the industry for a long time. I've worked as a salesperson. I've received awards from Honda and Land Rover and Lexus for my sales achievements. I've been a finance manager for a long time. I started going down the road of, where do you go from here? And the only thing you can do in a car dealership is become a general manager. So I started going down that path. I got a job as a used car manager, was running a used car department for Lexus for a while, where I was introduced to RestorFX. Ended up transferring over to the Volvo in the same company, became a GSM there. And then at that point, I was looking at how many people actually become a GM and the stress that they go through. And I was just like, you know what, there's got to be a better way, man. There's got to be something else I can do. At this point, I had moved out to Vancouver, and Alex was personally taking care of my dealership. So I started talking to him, and I was just like, hey, all the connections I have back home in Toronto, where I did this for 15 years, I could easily get this going. Like, this is a piece of cake. So back at the time, we used to structure regional sort of distribution rights, which we no longer do. But I made an agreement to sort of run Ontario and to treat it like it's my own personal province of business. And I came out here, and by the time we rolled into Toronto, I had about $1,000 in my pocket, and my everything I own in a trailer behind my truck, and we started doing it out of my parents' garage, and we just kept building, and I kept knowing what the vision was, and I could see the potential there, and just kept going and going, and very quickly we got to 5 to 6 cars a day on average. We're doing about 120, 130 a month, and then we started catching the attention of other people and selling licenses in Ontario. We now currently have 14 in Ontario. And I'd say out of those 14, every center is profitable. We don't have a center that's struggling dramatically. But out of those 14, I'd say about 5 to 6 of them are in the top 15 in North America at this point for volume. We've created a really strong team. Everybody gets along really well. Some people you guys may know, like Dave Butte and Pete Kirikin, and other guys that are just standalone RestorFX centers like Adam Lem and TJ Patel. But yeah, these guys, they've been an amazing team to work with, and I've been very grateful. And then RestorFX International asked me to take this knowledge and my general automotive knowledge, because of my experience in the industry and spending years on the other side of a desk from you guys, telling you no, and start teaching you guys how to get yeses and yeses and yeses. Like, what were the things that would make me cave over, right? Like, I know exactly how to get a used car manager to bite into what I'm selling. It's just, getting the conversation to go on long enough that he's like, dang it, you got me. And then you get the car. So I love sharing this knowledge, which is why I was excited to do this podcast with you guys today.
Oh, that's fantastic. See, I'm learning stuff already. You said started at 16. So, we don't have to tell us how old you are, but how long have you been around the car business then? Or what year was that?
Well, 3 years, maybe 4. No.
3 years, yeah. So you're like 2, yeah.
No, I left when I was I was 32 years old when I decided to open up RestorFX. I've now had RestorFX for 8 years. So I eventually finally got everything sorted and settled and opened up in Ontario. I must have been about 36 years old, 37, because now I'm going on to 45 next year.
Okay, so 16 to 45, 30 years in the automotive business, and all different roles, vendor, GM, all that stuff. So my point being, and I thought this was true, you've seen a lot of ups, downs, changes in car sales, car values, car reconditioning, all that type of stuff. Because right now we're obviously rolling into a time where, there's a lot of, I think, maybe Brewer can attest to this, things are changing. And people are a little worried about that. Long. You've seen those things, multiple recessions, if you've been in the car business that long.
I would love to be able to lie to you and say, yeah, I've seen this before, but I will be honest, this is unprecedented for the industry. Even the dealerships are freaking out. NADA is concerned, independent dealers are concerned, manufacturers are concerned, banks are concerned. Everybody is in panic mode. And as you guys know from the last 2 years, panic mode results in people not doing anything. So that's why it's been so much harder for us subcontractors to get any work approved, because in panic mode, people do nothing. They just sit and they wait to see what happens. So, that's all great for them because they're sitting on multi-billion-dollar floor plans. But the everyday guy like us, we got to figure out a way to make this work.
How do we do that?
That's the hard part. So one of the first things you got to realize is that these guys are paid on profit, right? They're paid on profit, all of them.
Do you think, this is a pretty obvious question, but I'm sure other people think, do you think because of your background, it was very easy for you to get the amount of cars in your business up as fast as, I'd say you were the fastest one, right?
I was not the fastest, but I was definitely, I'd be right in there, we'd be fighting for first place. But it helped. Having that knowledge helped. But the one thing that I would say is my biggest strength is that I had absolutely no intimidation walking into a dealership. I walk into a dealership, that's where I had spent the last 20 years of my life. I knew everything about what was going on. I knew what each department did. I know what each role was. I know exactly who to go to. I understood how to talk their language, speak their language. It's almost like I just was amalgamated with them from the beginning. So I knew exactly which way to go.
I think that for us with being dent guys, and we know everything about the business, right? When it comes down to dents, or say if you're an interior guy, you know everything about it. So you're comfortable in that aspect. Like I love when people tell me, no, they don't want to fix that dent, because I could tell, or our prices may be too high. We have we could spit the response out instantly whenever they say stuff. I will say one of the hardest things for the restore and selling at the dealerships is not being confident, and maybe not to say not being confident in the sales aspect of it, but just the knowledge of the business, the RestorFX product, the business, what it can do for a dealership. I think that has been the hardest thing to portray and sell at the dealerships. And that's why we pretty much have you, right? Is that one of the things?
I'm here to sort of coach you and be your cheerleader in the background, but I'm also here to give you like the realities and the sort of quick mental checks before you go in. We always had a really silly saying that we had in the car biz is give your head a checkup from the neck up before your neck's up. And what that means is whatever went on, whatever your last client told you, whatever the last dealer told you, whatever your employee just walked out, you got to go in there and you got to be cool and calm and collective, and everything is amazing and you're in charge, because dealerships are set up to be intimidating. Like they want you to be intimidated. Right.
Yeah.
And, you talk to a used car manager. We've all met these guys that are like, hey, well, I'm the used car manager for ABC Ford. You don't have any idea how important I am. And they all think that they're this like super irreplaceable, idol of a car salesperson. But really all they are is the ones that sold the best and have been moved into management. But the saying in sales is the easiest sell on earth is a salesman. So all you got to do is just get them to stop talking for a minute and listen and break down his barriers real quick and fast, and you're going to get his attention, and he's going to respond.
Right? Were you the
like,
same? Did you have that mentality when you worked in a dealership?
Of course I did. That's why they care about things like titles and office and demo. It's like, yeah, that's my 250 over there. Like that's where the stuff matters to them. Otherwise, they just drive a Ford Focus like everyone else. But no, those are and the industry's created that because it is a competitive industry. The entire thing from the moment you start in it is about, it always comes down to what did you do for me recently? It's like, 2 years ago, we were the number one Honda store in Canada. I don't care. What'd you do the last 30 days? That's all that matters. Right. So they are constantly focused on immediate results, from management down to salespeople. So if it's going to be a massively competitive environment, we need to give them that leg up or convince them that we're that little leg up that's going to beat them against all the other dealers in their market. Right.
Interesting. Yeah. So when I asked that, how do we solve that? You basically said, and this is true for any business, but dealer managers, used car managers, they want to make profit on the car. So should we be going in there and just basically laying out for them how our process, whether it's RestorFX, Dents, anything that you're trying to sell to a dealership, how you can make profit? Should that be the focus?
It is kind of the start of the focus, right? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
PDR, detailing, tinted windows, RestorFX, blah, blah, blah. Those are relatively small businesses in the industry. The industry has been around since the 1930s. If we all went bankrupt tomorrow, it's not like used cars will cease to sell. They'll still sell, right? We need to admit that to this guy and say, we understand these things are still going to sell one way or another. But especially in this economy, since there's so few cars available, and your pay plan is based on 2 years ago when you were doing 120 cars, now you're doing 40. Isn't it important we triple how much profit you're making per car? And you're not going to do that with a car that has dents, with a car that's all scuffed up, with a car that's not been detailed, has a flat tire. Yeah, you're going to sell it, but you're not going to triple your profit that you should normally make on this car. The thing when the economy gets bad, the major shift that happens with buyers is they demand value. And that's what's happening right now. And they've been so, lucky for the last 2 years that they're just selling inventory going, it's just availability, that now they have to make that shift back to value. And they're having a hard time doing it because they've just gotten used to, it's the only F-150 in black available in Lafayette. You can't get another one. You have to buy this one. Now customers are going,
I'll sell it to someone else tomorrow.
Exactly. And now customers are going, no, I want the best value for my money because I know money's hard to get and everyone's warning me that money's going away. So I need to make sure that what I'm getting is the best value possible. So that means the salesmen need to be retrained on how to sell the products, sell the dealers, sell themselves, sell the value. But they can't do that if as soon as they walk out to the car, they go to turn the key, there's a low tire pressure light and the customer is pointing at a dent and a giant scratch on the fender going, no, it's okay. Right? Buyers are visual.
But I feel like the dealerships, they've gotten so good because before we've come along with RestorFX and we have dealerships that don't fix anything. They just got really good at teaching customers or selling customers on, this, we're going to give you, this amount of money off on the vehicle, and they're making them feel really good about themselves, So those are the dealerships. Do you think that can be turned around, or is that just probably not going to be business with those guys?
Those are the ones that are going to get left behind in the industry as a whole, right? Because as this recession gets stronger, and it's inevitable, those are the people that, Honda's been doing that forever. It's a perfect brand example where, very few people can do recon work for a Honda dealer because we just sell it. It's a Honda, sir. It's a Honda. Well, why should I buy it? It's a Honda, right?
It'll last forever.
But now even they've realized that people are going, well, okay, yeah, sure, it's a Honda, but the one over there looks brand new, doesn't have any scratches. Why am I going to buy this one, even though you're a Honda dealer? Hondas are Hondas. There's tons of them. They're the number one selling car in the industry now. I can get a Honda anywhere. So these dealers are now realizing they have to make that shift and they have to appease the clients. Middle-class people with credit don't buy crappy cars. So the people that are, the 60 to 100K a year money earners that, they go 9 to 5, punch a clock, they're working at the local RV factory or tire supply place or Amazon headquarters, they're coming out and they're going, okay, my mortgage is higher, this is higher, Medicaid's higher, everything's more expensive, groceries, gas. I need more value for my money than I've ever needed before. And if these dealers don't provide it, they'll go down the street and find one that does. So these dealers are going to get left behind. They may not believe it, but they're going to. And that's where we come in to help them. Listen, for the small investment, and I'm not talking about just RestorFX, like PDR is the same thing. If you're a private detailer and there's no in-house detailing in your town, it's the same thing. It's justifying that you're increasing the value of the vehicle to them to meet their clients' expectations at this point. Because their clients are going to get pickier. Nobody cares about a mechanical anymore. They know dealers stand behind it. And now it's all about the cosmetics because people don't know how to do that stuff on their own. Think about how many people you say, oh yeah, I'm in the PDR business. And of course, in our industry, we're all like, oh, cool. How many people do you say it to on a daily basis and have no clue what that is? Right? And RestorFX is even more obscure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I love how confident you are in that belief. You're basically more like they're just gonna be left behind. Like they're gonna be done because they're not reconditioning vehicles. And I believe that sales when I'm walking into you, Ryan, to sell you at your dealership 8 years ago, who has the most belief in that process kind of wins the sales, right? There's a sale, someone gets a yes and a no, someone loses that.
Yeah.
And I feel like whoever believes in that the most. So I think, honestly, like you saying that, even if I just adopt that, no one really knows if they're right or wrong anyways. But for me to like actually say to a dealer, or because I'm really close to a lot of dealership, managers or owners or GMs or whatever that really don't like reconditioning vehicles. They just I feels like I'm like I'm like, can I have those two cars and like if I could have the balls to go in and tell them like, dude, like we got to recondition cars, or like the people that are going to recondition cars are going to win. Like, I wonder how that would go.
They know it. They do know it. But it's like when you walk into a used car manager, and you guys can both attest to this, you go in, you got the guy who doesn't have his tie on, the shirt's sort of half untucked, looks like he put it on last night and he just went out drinking. He's got a newspaper in front of him and one old computer monitor that has like the current baseball score. And then you see that, and I always call it the kiss of death, this old ratty notebook on a spiral sort of thing that looks like it's been flipped over 1,000 times. And all you see is that it says 06 Impala, red, 165, 2 tires, dent quarter. And when I see that, that's the kiss of death. That's a guy that is now convinced it's still 1980, customers' rights don't exist, we don't have to do nothing. But then you walk in, you see a guy that's well put together. He's got 2 screens. One's on Auto Trader. One's on his inventory or his, internal PO system. His desk is organized, and you can see that everything is in where it belongs. That's a guy that gets it. And it's really difficult because people always want to focus on, I have this one store where this guy just doesn't believe in recon. It's not our job to train the used car manager how to make money. It's our job to find the ones that get it and help them do it. And that's what we do. We go out and find guys that want to make money, and we go and make them money. And that's whether you're in PDR, that's whether you're in RestorFX, that's whether you're in PPF. Whatever you're doing, your job is to find the guys that get it and help them the most you can.
100%.
Yeah,
I like that. It's a good mentality to have.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so confident. Because, yeah, it's we have I'll use a friend of mine. He's got this one dealer in town. He's been there for 7 years. He does every dealer in town. He does dealers that are outside of town because they're now calling trying to get cars done. And he's got this one Mazda store that refuses to give him a car. Won't even give him a free demo. He's like, who doesn't take the free one? And I always say, well, don't worry. That guy's not going to be around very long. He's going to get fired. But then I find out the owner is just as bad as him, and it's the only store they own. So I'm like, oh, whatever. Just ignore that place, man. It's a museum. Move on. Like, go find something else. You don't need it. Don't put yourself through the stress. If he's not going to get it, if he's not going to work with you, if he's going to be argumentative, forget it and move on. That mentality I have going in is what gives me the confidence when I'm talking to a manager. going, you need me more than I need you right now.
Yeah, I do have
I
mean, this just happened maybe 2 days ago, but it was a dealership like that, man. It was super old school. Everybody in the dealership was just really old, and I did a demo for them years ago, and it turned out great. They made money on both cars we did. We did 2 demos for them. We got the Charger for 1, and I would constantly go back and they were like, "Look, man, we'll just call you when we need you." And then I just said, "Screw it, man. I'm going to watch this." I went into this dealership and I said, "Man, I've been hearing around town that y'all kind of slow over here." And he was like, "Well, who you heard that from?" I was like, "Well, all these other dealers that are using RestorFX, you know?"
Mm-hmm.
And so I had every instance for the guy. And then I said that Honda Accord out there was looking rough, you know? And I was like, I've been to every other dealership in the city, you know, this week, and you're the only one with a Honda Accord that's, you know, needs some work done to it. And he finally gave me the car, and now I think he gets it, you know, because he sold it that next day. And he called me up and he said, "Man, I really appreciate it." I said, "Yeah, so if you want your numbers to go back up, maybe you should start, you know, putting a little money into the recon side of it." And I don't know if I flipped them yet. I guess I'll keep up with y'all on that, but they are flippable.
Why do you think
you got him listening?
Honestly,
well, man, he was so. I kind of spit it out on accident, where I was like, "Man, I've been hearing around town y'all are kind of slow," and he didn't like that. You know, he was like, "Man," because he didn't like that. He thought that other dealers were talking about his dealership as something that they didn't have to worry about, like they weren't competition anymore, you know. And he was like, "Screw that. We're gonna, you know, get up with the times," is what it seemed like. So that was cool to notice that. Yeah.
Right. Like, you know, you're a dealer and say you got a car listed on, let's go with the, you know, a 19 Camry that just went through the process, you know, had the dents removed, properly detailed, was RestorFX. And they're like, ABC Ford down there has one as well. You're like, "Oh yeah, go look at that one. That's good. I'll wait here." But it's also a small town like yours, right? Like, it's a little bit different in, say, Toronto or Sacramento, but like Lafayette's not a huge town, man. A 5-mile drive is not a big deal for these people. They'll just shoot down the street and check it out. You're not going to buy a Honda at an off-make dealer until you've gone to the local supplier and checked out what they had first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan, I feel like sometimes managers, like you said, they have control or power over us, right? Over the people that the vendors come in and looking for cars. Do they sometimes enjoy the back and forth sales interaction? Just from your perspective, being in that environment for 20 years,
They
should
love
we
it.
just humor them?
Yeah, they love it. It's their thing. You know, I was always in the car biz, and we would always say, "I'm in the car biz because I'm avoiding a real career." You know, I get to work a whole 1 hour a day, and I get paid stupid amounts of money to do that. Right? Like, I get a free car. I'm over 100K a year, and I literally put in 1 hour of effort in my whole day. Other than that, I'm just sort of hanging out and shooting the shit. This is what they are. It is high school all over again. You need to cater to that. They need to be your friends. You know, drop off a coffee. If you're slow, pop on by. And he's like, "Oh, I don't have anything for you." "No, it's cool. You know what? We're pretty busy today. I just wanted to come by, catch up. How are things? This, that, and the other thing." Before you know it, they're going to like you more than your product. And they're just going to give you cars because they want to take care of you. Right? It happens all the time. All the time. These guys.
And the amount of money that dealers spend on reconditioning is a drop in the bucket, right? I mean, realistically, like they when they're like, I don't know if I can really spend money on, like right now or whatever. I feel like that's not always true. I feel like they just don't want to make a decision.
It's just definitely not true, or they don't want to make a decision, or they're giving you a hard no on one car. Like, go car by car. Never give them your full list. That's why I hate writing it out going, "Here's my list," because then they just, "Oh yeah, I don't want to spend money." Well, where do you go from there? So I just start with one car. I'm like, "Okay, you got the Chevy out there." "Yeah, no, I don't want to spend money on that." "Okay, you got the Accord." "Yeah, I don't want to spend money on that." "Okay, what about this Toyota Camry?" It's like, you can't keep using the same excuse, dude. Like, eventually you got to spend money. You're telling me you didn't put tires on it, you didn't put new wipers in it. Like, you spent the money. Let's go. You know. And if he's still giving you a hard no, stop and be like, "Yo, let's go for a cigarette." Even if you don't smoke, chances are they do. Or let's go grab a coffee, something. Get them out of their game. Break them. Because if they're sitting at that desk and giving you no after no, they're in a power position. So you need to break that power position on them So they're looking at you as an equal now. And one of the quickest ways I do that when it's a new client is I just tell them first, straight off the bat, hey, I don't want your whole inventory. I'm not here for every car on your lot. 80% of them will not benefit from having me do anything to it. I'm here for that 10% your detail department can't fix, you're not going to pay. That's it. I just want 10%.
Yeah.
That throws them off their game because everybody that's coming up to them pitching a product is like, I want to be your exclusive whole everything. Here's a flat rate. Nope, I don't want that. Just give me the 10% that I'm actually going to make you money on. The rest you can make money on your own.
There's a lot of lessons to this, and we're going back and forth. It's not really following a full timeline or anything, but we're just picking your brain. Like this is great for me. You said make them look at you as an equal. And I think that's so true. Like if you're a somewhat successful business owner, most of you guys are, if you're going to add on additional services or whatever, I mean, at least an equal. Sometimes, I mean, if you're owning a business and running, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 techs and they're in a used car, like and they're a used car manager working for 7 spots below an owner, there's no reason why you shouldn't feel at least equal to them on knowledge of reconditioning in cars and the market and all those types of things. And to be able to, and I'm talking to myself here as I say this, but like to walk out there and be like, look, I know car buyer habits too. Like no one's going to want to buy these cars. Remember that car we did last month that you said no to, and it came back and we did it. We did it anyways because the customer complained about it. Like remind them of these things. I did that literally yesterday. The guy that said, I don't want to spend money. I'm like, you said that last month on that blue Optima. Right. And then it came back and the customer was upset. Right. Yeah. So like there's people it's really hard to say that to somebody when you don't see yourself as an equal to them. Exactly. When you're just like pandering for their work. So I think that's super important. I just wanted to point that out. Even priming yourself before you go to the dealership, just remind yourself like these guys are not above me in business or in knowledge of cars or whatever. Like maybe even I'm above them, right? Yeah. Not talk down to them, but like understand where your position is.
Hey, 2 bad months selling cars, that guy's going to be out of a job. 2 bad months of him selling cars, you're still going to be a bad dealer. So if anything, he needs you. They need to have the answers they need to why they did it. And all I'm doing is filling in the blanks for them. Listen, before you give that guy $1,000 discount and send it to me, just do it now. And then the next guy that comes in is going to buy it. In fact, I bet you can call people that were half interested in that one, say, hey, I got a new one in. They'll come in and buy this one, not knowing it's the same damn car. Like, just give them that pathway. You put this front line, it's selling. If that doesn't work, I go after the salespeople because they're path of least resistance. So the next person that they show the car to and they're like, oh, what about the scratch? Oh, don't worry about it. And they're desking the deal. No, customer's really mad about the scratch. We got to RestorFX it because they want to.
Dude, that's brilliant right there. That's so true. Like, I know I've never even thought about that really, but I just like mess around with sales guys, fix their personal cars for dents, talk to them, whatever, like in the meantime. But I never even thought about that because the sales guys go to the desk and they're like, that's almost a different sales process too. Like they're trying to like sell the car. They don't, depending on how
I
get
paid
or whatever.
Nothing if the car doesn't sell. If I don't sell the car,
it's a percentage. It's like a percentage of profit, right? Typically, right? So if they knock $1,000 off the car and they're getting paid, what's a typical percentage? I don't know, 10% of
20 to 25.
20% of the profit. If they can knock $1,000 off and close this deal, or I don't know.
It's not even $1,000 out of their pocket, right? Because like you're talking,
it's only $200. Yeah.
Let's take a RestorFX commission, right? So let's say they're looking at a $3,000 commission if they sell the car as is. They're looking at $2,500 with RestorFX. You're literally affecting their paycheck $80.
Yeah.
But they know they're not going to get the deal.
To gain a good customer though, like
or if I'm a salesman for $2,000 profit and don't do the RestorFX, and then I have somebody driving around pissed off at me. Hey, we'll take care of everything. Pay me what it says on the window. I guarantee you're going to be thrilled. I have my Honda store down the street. It got so bad that the manager had to call me and said, do not take a car unless we call you ourselves. And the phone calls didn't stop. They just kept, and they said, okay, take the calls from the sales guys. We're too busy to deal with all this because everybody was putting it in their deals. RestorFX the car, RestorFX the car. Scratches.
So you're saying putting it in the deals like they were charging? You can charge.
No,
the
like
customer
like
for that?
no, they're
They
almost
just the
saying,
customer
like,
saying,
in
"I'll
order-
buy the car, but in order to buy it, I want all these scratches repaired." And the customer
Yeah.
may just go, "Yeah, it would be nice if those scratches were gone." But the salesman wanting the deal is going to go in and tell the manager, "Oh, they're freaking out about these scratches, but I promised them they're going to be fixed." Like they're really upset about that, and the customer's out there just going, "Yeah, whatever."
if they can keep the sticker price on the window and spend $500, again, like you said, you're only taking maybe $100 out of the deal for them. If that's what sells it, the RestorFX guy. Because now that I think about it, there's a lot of sales guys out there that do that for me. Like I have a lot of sales guys texting me, and I've gotten in trouble in the past before. I'm like, gotta give me an RO number, dude. I can't like just bill cars anymore. You gotta give me an RO number. But that depending on the dealer. But anyways, if they can use your service, you tell the sales guys, look, scratches, swirl marks, all this type of stuff, I'll just make it all go away. They can just be like, yeah, we'll fix that. If you're gonna buy, we're good at this price, right? If we fix all this stuff, and they're like, yeah, and they know we just solved the problem. Is it so? Are those due bill situations typically coming in? Bills? Yeah, we definitely do a lot of those. I was out doing sales training with a client with one of the centers, and we went to a new Toyota store that he had never been to. Used car manager was busy. I started talking to one of the sales guys. He went back in to find the used car manager, came back out. He goes, "Listen, he's tied up in a few meetings. Can you come back tomorrow? He really is interested in talking to you." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So we took off. Literally 3 hours later, he called us and said, "Hey guys, I just sold a car. It's conditional to you guys doing it. So I need you to pick this up for tomorrow." It's the sales guy. He was like,
I don't think many people know that, man. Go after the salesman.
Absolutely. They're path of least resistance forever.
And then if they move dealerships, they're going to be telling their manager, like, dude, you're not using RestorFX. Like, we were killing it over there.
Yeah.
You know, that's awesome, man. I think a lot of people need to think about that. Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah. And
I knew that was a thing almost, but I never even really fully thought about it.
Yeah.
And it's honestly, it's hard to do that with dents though, because I don't want to give tell salesmen, just tell them I'll fix the dent, because like they're gonna. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
It's not black and white. Dents aren't black and white like RestorFX is, you know? That's why the logo is black and white, dude, because we can fix that, you know? It's just super simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the paint's not missing, we're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It is easier with us.
And I feel like now that I'm thinking about it, I've always been reserved to tell salespeople about that. Like, oh, yeah, just tell the customer you can fix the dent or whatever. But I'm significantly less reserved about doing it for RestorFX. You know, hey, if anybody ever complains about scratches, here's my card.
Yeah. So, and I do it in a very smooth way where I just say, you know what, just don't lose a deal over it. Call me. Don't lose the deal.
Yeah.
Well, you hear a lot of people. I've actually heard this with a customer and a salesperson in their office, and the customer that they wanted this vehicle, but it was black, and they were like, "I'm not buying a black vehicle, you know, because they all look like crap." And then I'm just thinking to myself, if he had that ammunition that you just said, Ryan, he could have been like, "Have you ever seen black look perfect?"
Yeah,
because we could deliver that for you. And I'm like, man, I'm just thinking about it. I probably lost the RestorFX over that by not giving that salesman that ammunition. So that's awesome, man. I'm glad
exactly.
How many due bills do you do, Ryan?
I'm not familiar with the term due bills. Like,
do you comebacks, or what else do they call them, Brewer?
Client complaints.
Like they sell the car, and the customer takes it and they bring it back and you RestorFX for them.
Less now than I used to back in the day, but back in the day I used to get a ton. And I even befriended, because they have an in-house body shop, and I befriended the manager of that body shop, because they'd send them up to him. "Oh yeah, Vince, can you fix this?" And Vince, "Oh man, I don't want to. You know, my guys, they didn't go to school to do." And he'd call me, and I'd just fix it for him. And of course, he'd mark it up 15% on them, and then
So if you're telling the sales guy that, then a lot of times like they'll say, "Hey, we'll take care of it," and then you'll fix it, and then the customer will come back and purchase it. Typically,
well, in Canada, we don't do on-the-spot deliveries. So that's something that doesn't happen here except in BC. So there's always a couple-day delay, right? So they buy the car. We have to issue the safety. We have to, issue the emissions test and then get it licensed, and they have to get it insured. So there's at least a 24-hour process.
Yeah, they do it the right way.
So
it's like a house.
Here's my deposit. Now I'm going to go home, you're going to spend a day getting everything ready so that when I come pick it up, it's good to go. You just put my plates over and I'm out of here. But it's also, getting the financing approved and all that other stuff. So, and you can't do that on cars that don't look at, just, it doesn't work. So, these sales guys love doing this because they're like, yeah, I got this. Don't worry. I got a guy. And as a business manager, before I was in RestorFX, I used to use it as a cheat as well because we were getting really under a lot of pressure for not selling protection products on used vehicles, which is difficult to do because they've already got 60, 70,000 miles on them. Who cares about rust proofing and paint protection on a 70,000 mile car? The damage is done. So what I used to do is I used to sell the paint protection and I'd have it sent out to RestorFX first. And I'd charge extra to make sure the RestorFX was covered. And I tell the customer, if you don't visually see a difference in your car when you pick it up, you don't have to pay for it. And then I'd send it out to RestorFX, have my paint sealant put on afterwards, have the car ready. And of course, every customer came in, looked at their new car and went, wow. So it just increased my penetration ratio in the used car department, like 120%.
This is what I'm working on right now, trying to get the same situation set up. So hopefully it works.
So I think, it's a very similar process, just in, I think the US, I don't know, I'm a California guy, but we do a lot of do bills. Like they'll sell a car and just promise things like, yeah, we'll take care of that. And then just bring it back. So
yeah,
we've always done two of them. We've been off on that because of the dent situation. They're like, oh man, we only put $150 in a deal for this dent. You're trying to charge us $600. Well, because you didn't call me or we didn't see anything. But the RestorFX, that's what I really love about it. Is, dude, it's the set price. That's it. Whatever it is, whatever you're charging, that's what it's going to be. So there's salespeople can sell this stuff all day for you, and there's never going to be any negative about it unless it's like the paint's peeling off or something. But that's rare. They shouldn't be selling that at the dealership anyway.
Yeah, and you can also deal with that right on the spot going, wait, that's what okay, I don't want to do the car because I'm not going to fix that. So Mr. Salesman, call the customer and find out what their expectations are.
That's like super rare.
They're going to be yelling at you, not me.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Well, that was a lot of masterclass on selling to dealerships right there, in my opinion. I took a bunch of notes on here. I'm going to use some of this stuff when I go next Monday. I'll do some sales, But
here's the great thing, because it's not just the RestorFX thing. The RestorFX is a powerful tool, but this is stuff that you can use across the industry. So anybody listening to this podcast, you're going to get something from that conversation we just had. If it's as simple as, wait a minute, why am I intimidated by this guy? Forget him. I'm more successful than he is, really. But it's just, we've always given them that power position, and we need to take it back.
If intimidation comes down to, the feeling of success, which I feel like kind of can in a lot of ways, if you're a business owner that's somewhat successful, your life is harder and you've achieved, I would be careful what I say, you've achieved more and overcome more becoming a business owner with 3 people than the guy going from salesman to sales manager.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just I got to wear a tie more often, and I get a new business card.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but I think it's the other way around too, though. If you can get the dealer, that should be a goal for everybody, is to get the dealership managers to look at you as an equal, because I think we could all say we walk into a dealership as a vendor and they all look at us like we're the $10 an hour guy in the back detailing cars. And I'm like, hold up, man, probably make more money than you, but you can't really say that.
I'm saying, that's where you go to, especially as males, right? We're like, we're fucking, I make more than you.
Bigger, right?
It's petty, but it's true. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But
it's the reality, though. That's the benchmark and measurement of success in North America, right?
But that's the friendship side.
In sales, come on.
And the way it was explained to me, where it finally clicked to me that way, was it was a good friend of mine that was working at a dealership, and she said, the first year you're going to justify why you're even a business. The second year you're going to justify to me why I need to keep using you, even though I think I don't need to anymore. But the third year you're just part of the business now. Now you're just like, you work for us. Like, so, oh yeah, that's fine. I have access. I can walk into parts departments of some dealerships where even salesmen aren't allowed in parts departments. But I walk in, the guys are like, oh, hey, Ryan. Hey, how's it going? I'm just looking for a key. Okay, cool. Yeah, blah, blah. I have key access to every building. I have fingerprints on file at every building. I walk through the mechanics bays and everyone's saying hi. Half the guys are, oh, can you check out my car for me or whatever? But nobody questions us. That's when you know you're in. That's when you know you're gravy, because you can walk through that whole building and nobody says anything, right? Now you're part of the business. And at that point, there's no reason why you should ever be intimidated by them. It even happened yesterday where a manager, he messaged, he goes, I'm not giving your guy a car until I could really use a coffee. So I just Googled the local Dunkin' Donuts and sent him a Google map link to it going, here you go. Like, that's how you get there, man. Like, I don't know. Did you not know where it is? Here it is. And he sent back and he goes, you're a jerk. And then the guy came back with 4 cars. He just wanted that interaction. You're the owners of the business. You got to be there. Even if you have a sales rep, you have to be there. Like, you are the owner. It's key that they see you. They have that interaction. You're the one cashing the check. You got to, at least once every 2 weeks, make your face visible.
Yeah, for sure. And I think going back to the intimidation thing and talking to used car dealers, I think a lot of people, and I've done this, I can speak to it really well because I've done it for a long time. Definitely the last couple of years, the less of it, but you try to hide your success a little bit in your business, in my opinion, to managers. Sometimes you work a little slower on a car or whatever. You think that, you're trying to manage their expectations of it. But I think I've had more success being the opposite, putting myself as an equal, especially if you're like GM owner type people you're looking at, like to show like, yes, I make a good money serving you and all the other people around here to give you what you want, and not to hide from that. As every dent guy knows, Brewer, you walk through a place, I literally today, they'll call you easy money. They'll say jingle, jingle, because they got cut. You know that shit. Dude, seriously, it's I don't know if it's all vendors, but like my entire life, my dad was called Money. I was Money Junior. Every time I walked into a place, it was the thing. And now I used to like really be difficult for me to hear that, because I'm like, oh, I can't charge her that much. Like, I think I make too much money or whatever. But like now I'm like, yep.
Yeah. Hey, you're the ones
buying. Here's the $900 bill.
Scratched up, crappy cars. Don't get mad at me because I know how to fix them.
Right. You want to get equal with a manager, just go get yourself a Rolex and dude, I'm telling you, it's all done after that,
Rent a car every 3 months and change it out.
There you go. But seriously, like, people won't do that because they're scared that if they look too successful, they're not going to want to use them to do their stuff. Is that not true? That's so true. And that is you just staying not unequal. Let's say you staying below that person as an equal. You'll never get to that point if you don't actually show them that you are. If you're successful, and don't fake it. And don't get a car every 3 months.
Though, like,
rent a Lambo.
I'm sure you guys have all been in the background and heard somebody say, like, "Oh no, I got the best dent guy in all of Lafayette. This is the greatest guy in Sacramento. Like, he's known in 3 counties, man. Like, this is the guy." They want the best guy. Like, they want to have the best of the best of the best in their back pocket so they can share it with their customers, their friends, their family. So when we're all like, oh, I'm not very good at this, well, we're doing ourselves a disservice. You need to walk in. I am the best of the best. Like, I own this. This is me. Oh, check out my car's completely covered in stickers. Wow, how much did that cost? Whatever. I'm a business. I did it. You need to know that I am a professional. I'm not just one individual center. There's 150 of us in North America. You're covered North American wide. We've been doing this for 18 years. We were at SEMA. Like, we are big time business. Mobile One doesn't walk in going, well, we're a decent little oil company and we work hard as a family. No, we're Mobile One. We got F1, we got NASCAR, we got they own it. Go in, be confident. Like, there's nothing wrong with being the best of the best of the best in your business. And talking to these guys like you are the best of the best of the best, okay.
I see Brewers writing down over there too, but that's so like that's so
good.
Like,
the disservice, like Go ahead.
I feel like the managers that you want to have or the dealers that you want to have literally want you to be the best guy. If you're the best guy, you're making really good money.
Yeah.
If you're not making good money, you're probably not that good. And like, I've been doing this for 22 years. I've been in dent repair. Basically, like, there were so many times where I would feel like almost like, I guess bashful is the right way of how much money I make as a dent guy. Sometimes I'm like, I just fixed all 80 of your cars. They're like, didn't you show up an hour ago? Like, yeah, I did. Like now I say that, but before I'm like, yeah, it was like maybe like it was like closer to 2 hours, like two and a half. And you start like doing that, but no.
That's why you use me. I'm that good.
Yeah, that's why you use me.
You can get a guy that's
faster the better, right?
He's going to spend 2 hours sitting out there on one car and not fix it fully.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
But there's going to be some guys listening right now that are saying the opposite a little bit, just because we have dealerships that are all about the cheaper route, right? I've never thought you're like nobody's a genius about the at selling. Yes, they are. I have multiple dealerships that are like I was compared to my dent company was compared to Levi's jeans versus Wrangler jeans the other day. And he said, "Man, I know you're the best dent guy on the planet, but you're like the Wrangler jeans. This other guy, he's the Levi jeans, but
they're good enough.
They're a lot, there's a difference in price." And I had nothing to say about that. I'm like, well, I appreciate the compliment, man. That's great. But I wish I would have told him what you just said about, dude, you're doing yourself a disservice by using, a lesser competition, because
call Mr. Levi's and have him fix your Shelby Cobra for you.
Yeah, or have him fix your mom's car or your friend's car, or whatever it's going to be, and then have him fix this customer's car that's going to get pissed off because he did such a terrible job. Now you look like an idiot. With my company, you never have to look like that.
Yeah, I stand behind everything I'm doing.
I'm gonna be like number one salesman. Man, I'm so pumped up.
You ready to go now?
Yeah.
Ready to go?
Yeah. I just need to get my manager on top of this stuff, though. So,
it comes down the auto industry. We always hear it: fast, cheap, reliable. Pick two. Cheap's not going to be reliable. It never is, and it's certainly never going to be fast. Fast, cheap, reliable. Pick the two you want the most. And if it's my money on the line and my clients on the line that are going to be yelling at me and calling my manufacturer is going to call down and go, "What the hell happened with this guy?" I'm not going with the cheap guy. If I got a 94 Caravan, okay, give me the Levi Strauss guy. That guy's good. But if I have, 218, 219 BMW, Mercedes, Benz, Lexus, I'm not going with the most expensive guy on earth, but I'm finding that guy that's good value. It's the same way what the customers are thinking. They're just not thinking right yet because they don't know how to vocalize it. They want more value. And what that conversation he was having with you is, where is my value by using you? And what you needed to sell him on was, I'm faster, I do a higher quality repair, I'm a little bit more, but your customer return is going to be next to zero, and the quality of the repair you can stand behind knowing it's done. And if there's a problem going forward, call me again. I'll
solve your problem. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I've said that before. I'll solve your problem. Yeah,
I'm solving one in the parking lot right now.
Yeah,
his Levi guy jacked his car all up, and he shouldn't have been touching it. I said, "Man, you should have never let this guy touch this car." But
he's learned. Yeah, Levi's are decent. If you're just going to wear them out to the mall with your buddies, but if you're going out with the wife, you got to get yourself some Wranglers. Otherwise, she's not going to live in that nice restaurant.
Right. That's awesome.
The jeans analogy is gone. Gone too far on that one. That's pretty funny. That's when it
comes down to when you're starting with a new dealer, right? They really have 4 objections that they can possibly give you. I don't care what they tell you. They're going to phrase them in all different manners. But really, the objections come down to, am I already paying for this and I'm just getting shittier service, which this guy used? Hey, I'm going to do the same service you got, but cheaper. And that's how he screwed up a car. What's my price? Is that a good deal? Well, with RestorFX, we got to justify and quantify that. But with PDR business, the guy knew he was cheap because he's used to you. Will I get in trouble for doing this? Probably my boss won't care because he knows I'm already doing PDR work. And what happens if there's an issue? Well, the 4th objection just all of a sudden blew up in his face, where now there's an issue and now he's spending twice to get it fixed. So when that guy comes back to fix another car, he's going to go, you go. Yeah, don't touch anything 18 and newer. Right. Just don't even look at it. Don't even look. If it's got 200K, maybe. But otherwise, get out of here. And those are the 4 objections with every dealer. I don't care where you are on the planet. Every dealer has those same 4 objections when you walk into them the first time.
Okay, so for everybody else besides RestorFX, am I already paying for this? The answer is yes, essentially.
Now, let's use the perfect example of Levi's versus Wranglers. Forget, we'll go down the RestorFX road in a sec. Am I already paying for this? Yes. And just not getting the service. Well, I know Ryan's doing a good service, but then the guy goes, what's my price? And is that a good deal? And he hits a price way lower than Ryan, which is the Levi's versus Wrangler jeans. So he goes, hey, that's a really good deal. I got to try it at least. And then it gets down to the, what if there's an issue? And that's where the guy fell apart. And that's why he's going to lose him as a client. Because this guy's used to the quality of service Ryan has been offering him. He's used to that guy standing behind him going, I'm here to help. I'm going to make sure it's right no matter what. If I quoted it wrong, if I screwed it up, I'm fixing it. This guy just walked away and wiped his hands of it and ran away. Right? So I guarantee
what if it's the other way? What if it's the other way around? What if you're trying to walk into a dealer and they have a cheap guy? So they say, am I paying for this? Yes. What's my price? I'm already getting it cheaper. Will I get in trouble? Haven't gotten in trouble yet. What happens if there's an issue and they haven't had an issue? Or they haven't heard of one. Where do you go? Because this happens. Like this is a common problem for like anybody selling to dealerships. You'll
everything.
Definitely.
Yeah,
you know what? And you might be walking into a dealer, like if there's a PDR, our local PDR guy that does the mall here, he's not as good as a lot of the guys I've seen that I've met through MTE and through all you guys. I can verify that 100% because I won't let him touch my cards. But the dealers are happy with his work. So unless he stops showing up or he starts pointing out other problems, you need to make yourself available for the things, because the problem with those guys, if they're doing the cheap repairs, they get picky. They only want to do, the little quarter-sized dents in the middle of the door. Oh, it's on a crease. Oh, I can't fix that. I can't fix that. And so he started doing that. And now there's 3 dent guys working this whole auto mall, whereas he had it on lockdown and was literally making $5,000 a day. Now he's fighting to make $1,200 a day because they're bringing in other guys going, well, you couldn't fix that. Everything I show you, you don't want to fix. This guy's fixing it. So they bring in a guy, he's more expensive, but his quality is better, but he's fixing the things that this guy doesn't want to fix, right? Yeah. With RestorFX, we have a different set of challenges. Am I already paying for this?
They think they are.
They think they are. They're like, well, are you just a polisher that's doing a better job than my guys in the back, which, basically are shoemakers, and they're sitting away pounding themselves in the head with pads and they don't know what they're doing. We're not. So I deal with that right up front. We're not detailers. We don't polish. We don't sand, blah, blah, blah. We're a 2-part system that's professionally applied to the vehicle that permanently repairs the base, the color, the clear coat on your entire vehicle. So I address that right off the bat. What's my price, and is this a good deal? Retail price starts at about $700 for a truck, van, SUV is about $750. Luxury vehicles, which is accurate enough, is $800. My number one client down the street that has 7 stores sends me about 2 cars a day. They're paying $450 a vehicle. Well, I'm not going to spend $450. Okay, no problem. What if we start at about $475, whatever? I'm not going to send 2 cars a day. What about if we start at $475 and go from there? And if the volume picks up, we'll work on the pricing, right? Or, hey, yeah, well, I'm also related to this store and this store and this store. What if we get the 3 of us together and acted like one client? Right now, I'm getting that same discount deal. Am I going to get in trouble for it? Absolutely not. First one's on me. True sign of a good pusher. First one's on the house, man. Give it a try. You're going to love it.
True sign of a good pusher.
And what if there's an issue? Well, 150 locations, 18 years in the business. Warranty is transferred over for the lifetime that customer owns the vehicle. If there's ever an issue, you call me. We're taking care of it no matter what it is, etc. Boom, 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 boom. Here's a warranty card. Here's the registration. Here's our company. You're building that you're not just some guy that found a product on, Alibaba that you learned how to make it work. You're part of a bigger picture. 150 locations across North America, 47 countries worldwide. 18 years in the industry at SEMA. Okay, so I'm protected if there's an issue, right?
That's actually good too, because a lot of guys are like, yeah, I had this guy like maybe 10 years ago came by, you see this clear coat thing, make all the scratches go away. But I always had that one, Yeah. I'm like, how long did it last? They're like, I don't know, it lasted. It was that, So like, I think they've kind of heard that, like, I can make scratches go away type of thing. So showing them the size and scale and professionalism of the business of RestorFX that's actually a good sales point for that.
And again, it's sort of like what we were saying earlier. It's bringing you to that level. Hey, look what I'm a part of. You don't talk to a guy that owns a McDonald's like, oh man, you're just some small little franchise owner. What a weenie. No, he owns a McDonald's, right? Like, put us on par. I've got investment into this. This is a big deal. make them realize how big of a company.
I had so much more I wanted to get to. We got a little bit of time.
I'm good.
I don't think we're at an hour yet. You the way you did it with RestorFX is different back in the day, but you basically had a part in 14 locations.
I was basically think of me as a district manager, basically.
Yeah.
So I had my own shop, and then we were selling sub licenses to everybody. So imagine
but you
selling,
helped all of those locations.
Yeah, I did the initial trainings, I did the sales training, the ongoing support, everything like that. The nice thing was, because everybody was with, it's the GTA, which is a huge city. It's the third largest in Canada, or the third largest in North America. Everybody was within a couple-hour drive. So I could go and spend a few days. So if somebody was having trouble, I'd go and spend a few days driving around with them, figuring out what's going on and where they're slipping up. And it's real simple. And if you want to play a game, we can do it. And Ryan, are you willing to play a game with me?
Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
Think about one of your clients that you're struggling to get cars from.
Got it.
Okay. What's the manufacturer?
Chevrolet and Cadillac, but they're a used car, obviously.
Okay. How long's he worked there?
He's been there for about 3 years, but he's been at it's a dealership group, so he's been there for at least 7.
Okay. How long's he driven Cadillacs and Chevs?
He's been at that one for about 3 years.
Does he have a personal car that he drives?
It's demo. He does. He's got a Camaro. He's not a Camaro. He's got a Corvette, actually. So yeah.
He's got a Corvette. Okay. What's his favorite sport team?
I don't know.
Is
Sports
he
team? He's married. 2 kids. Yeah, married, 2 kids.
Perfect. What's he do on weekends?
His son's real big into MMA fighting, so he does that every weekend.
Okay. How's he take his coffee?
I don't even think the dude drinks coffee.
So those are the questions I would start asking, and I'm going to give you, honestly, you get an 80%. That was good.
Yeah, you know what's crazy?
Dude, I was over here like, damn, glad you didn't pick me.
You know what's crazy is the guy I just explained to you, I'm like really good friends with, and I don't know those things about him.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's crazy, man.
Nobody cares how much you know till they know how much you care. You can try it with any of my guys. I can tell you everything about them. I know how they take their coffee.
I literally took the guy golfing Sunday, and and I don't know any of those questions.
Right? That's how you become integral to him. At that point, it's now, oh no, Ryan Brewer's my guy. Like he was at my kid's bar mitzvah. Like he brought a birthday present for my kid. Blah blah blah. He bought him some MMA gloves. Whatever. Like, that makes you indispensable. It's like what Mikey was saying. Win them over, and they're always going to be your client. Right.
I know, but I have the guy on Dents. They don't fathom using anybody else. It's just RestorFX for some reason. He just doesn't see it, and it's my fault, right? I'm not explaining. I'm not doing something wrong with him. I don't know.
But it's that thing that we were talking about earlier. The challenge guys are going to have from the PDR industry. Like I know there's a lot of guys in PDR that are listening that have either signed up with RestorFX. Maybe you've had your license for about 2 years and you're really stalling and you're not sure how to build it. Maybe you just got it. Maybe you haven't even done training yet. But the biggest problem you guys are going to have is you're walking into these clients where you are used to, I am the dent guy and there is no challenges. And you're coming in going, you know what? I've got this customer, this customer, this customer, this customer. I'm going to be busy. And then you all of a sudden come in and you go, hey, look, you got a scratch over there, scratch over there, scratch. And the manager's taken aback. He's like, whoa, you're my dent guy. I have a scratch guy. Why are you trying to be my scratch guy when I already have a scratch guy? You're my dent guy. Right? And what they don't understand is that this is something completely different. You are going to have to go into this and approach these guys, whether you've been dealing with them for 10 years or 1 year or 1 week. You have to go in that you are a brand new business from scratch. The only benefit you get is that he's going to give you the time to talk because you've built that relationship that he trusts you. Right. That part of the equation's out, which is the hardest part to build. But you still got to build the relationship. You got to act like you've never, ever done a car for them in the past. It is 2 separate entities. You got to go in, be a rookie, take your lumps, deal with the guy, get yourself on level, help him understand what we do, how we do it, and then grow from there. But
dude, that's so true. I basically started really selling RestorFX in maybe March of this year. Essentially, I trained in December, Christmas, etc. We did a bunch of free cars. The accounts that I get the most work from right now, I actually don't even do dents at them.
Yeah, because you're not their dent guy. They're like, oh yeah, we got this new guy here that's a scratch guy.
I was like, physically easy. I'm gonna go all my dealerships I do dents at, and I'm just gonna sell them on RestorFX, and they're just gonna give me all their cars like they do with all their dents. That did not happen. They give me work, but it's been a little bit of a harder transition sometimes for me to be both guys. Like I was telling you guys earlier, I basically call myself like the paintless appearance guy now. I'm like, if you want something fixed that's paintless, like let me know. Whether the metal's not in the right spot or the clear coat doesn't look good, you know. But the guys that I'm getting the most work from, and it's not a bunch, maybe like 2, I would say not even 2 a week, 5 a month. Sometimes from some of these dealers, because I'm still growing this thing, but I don't do dents for them.
Yeah, and that's why you've had more success with them, because they never looked at you as you're my dent guy, right? You didn't have to.
And I walk in, I change my stuff when I walk in there. I'm wearing RestorFX branded things, not dent stuff. My truck has Dent Pro on it, but most people don't see me pull up. But
you need to get RestorFX on one side of your truck and then Dent Pro on the other, so that way
park the right way.
Yeah, dude, it's perfect. Like the gas tank, though, you'll always forget which one it is. You're like, son of a
yeah. But the point, and it's not even because those dealers just liked RestorFX better. It's because I presented it to them a different way. I was selling that I didn't have this like, oh, they'll just give me work type of thing. I went and sold them, dropped the pamphlets, did the free demo car. I did free demo cars for my dent company too, don't get me wrong. It felt like the same process, but as I'm looking back, I'm like, it's probably not, because they're like, this is a cool new product, and they make all my stuff look shiny again, and they don't see me as a dent guy. So that's interesting.
That's a large thing that I run into a lot when I'm dealing with, new centers that have signed up and new owners, is that they go in with that mentality, and it really is tough for them, because they've spent, you guys have spent 20 odd years building your business. You're now just, I sit in my shop, I pump my dents, I got my dealers, I'm happy, life's grand, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to start this new business. It's been so long since you were back there scrounging and trying and hustling and making a living. You're like, wait, this, no wonder people don't do this. This is hard. It sucks. But you have to be willing to bring yourself a couple steps down. It's the number one mistake anybody makes, is they try to be hands-on with everything, and they assume that they're just going to get business. Never assume you're just going to get business. The best comparison I can think of, and you guys actually know these two, is I've had 2 gentlemen train the exact same day, and I've put them as far as business owners and small business, how they run their businesses. I'd say they're equal. One of them was in PDR, one of them was in spot repair. The spot repair guy is already naturally busier than the PDR guy, only because he was already the scratch guy. He was getting called for the damage anyways. So they're just like, oh, fix it. I don't care how you fix it. Okay, it's $600. He's charging $600 a car and getting it because they're going, yeah, just fix it. And he's doing the whole car, right? Because he was already being called in for that damage. And that's when I realized that is one of the biggest challenges you all are going to have, is that you now have to all of a sudden go to these guys that you've built this relationship with and go, wait, hold on. I'm going to go do something totally different now, but I still am going to be your best customer or your best client.
And
right?
Going back to the beginning, I think putting yourself as an equal, like I'm a business owner to them, is better than like I'm a dent guy, because you could walk in there and be like, check it out, new business proposition. Here's why I like it so much. Here's what other dealers are doing. I got my guys doing it at my shop, just like I got my dent guys working for me. If you're in that position, depending on where you are. But like getting back on their level of equals, like you're not just the dent guy. You're not just the dude that comes out and hammers on all the cars in the lot or whatever. You're actually you're a partner in their business. And so that goes back full circle into getting yourself more in that position as you grow, as you hire another tech, as you grow in business, to get on that level, because they're not going to see you as the dent guy. They're going to see you as a guy that owns a reconditioning business that helps solve their problems. That's what you want them to. That's where I want all my dealership guys to see me as now. I don't care if I walk in a RestorFX shirt, ClearFX shirt, Dent Pro shirt, hat, whatever. I want them to be like, oh yeah, that's the guy that makes my cars look better, you know. And that's transition for sure. But
and it's And the hard part is getting back to that constantly selling again, because you guys have been away from it for so long. And well deservedly, because you guys are good at what you do. Like, you've built that business, you've earned that respect and reputation. But it's hard to bring yourself back down to that level where you're just out there hustling and selling. Everything you got to be doing is about selling yourself again. And it does take about 2 years of constantly going in there and grinding it out. But after the second year point, that's when you're going to start getting a few phone calls, and it's going to become a lot easier for you, because now you're just going to be integral to their business. You know, like, you didn't pick up some PDR tools and walk out there one day and go, I'm going to pop a repair on a dealer lot, and oh, look at that, I'm all of a sudden busy. Now I got 30 cars a day I'm working on. No, you had to hustle, you had to work, you had to keep growing and motivating and selling. And that is the key, right? And I know when I onboarded both you guys, I said, here's some homework. Nobody ever does it. Go up to somebody and say, just randomly, I'm picking up a coffee, and oh yeah, I'm really tired, I just started a new business. People, without even thinking, go, well, yeah, what do you do? It's ingrained in the human spirit. We have to do it. Now you have to explain RestorFX. Get comfortable explaining RestorFX. Get used to using terminologies. The last thing you want to do is be sitting there going, well, it's kind of like polish, but not like I'm a bit like body shop. Like, you got a 30-second window, make it clear. So those 4 challenges I gave you, have a pitch that addresses all 4 of them right off the bat. And one of the first things you can say to sort of slow down the conversation is exactly what I said at the beginning. I'm not here to do all your cars. Most of them don't need us. That's going to make them stop and go, wait, what?
Disarm
them. It's going to take all of their weapons and put them on the ground, and then they're actually listening.
What's your 30-second elevator pitch?
My 30.
Yeah, you wanted to play the
that's
game.
A great
dude.
question.
So, what is your? Because I would love to know, because mine's terrible, I'm sure. So.
All right. So we're gonna role play here, are we?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep.
All
I'm at the coffee shop.
Who's gonna? You're gonna be at the coffee shop? Absolutely.
Yeah, Ryan got put on the spot earlier, so.
Hey, Corey, nice to meet you. My name's Ryan. I own RestorFX.
Cool.
Have you heard of it? Never
heard of that. What's that?
Ah, cool, man. Well, we're actually part
restore houses or something.
We're the newest location in the area for automotive vehicles. And what we do is, imagine being able to put a new layer of clear coat over your entire vehicle without having to paint it, remove the gaskets, or sand it, or anything like that. It never looks like it's repainted. Everything stays original. But all that damage that you've been looking at and all that hazy, swirly, shiny, and roughness, it's gone permanently. We guarantee it for life to never peel, fade, discolor, or delaminate. There's never an issue. You call back. We're actually adding 10 microns of new clear coat to your vehicle. So imagine how powerful that is to fix it. Here's the great news. 24-hour turnaround time. You're not even going to be without your car for more than a day.
Dude.
Oh, that's good. I don't have any other questions.
That's so good. Where do I go to sign up?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I guess the only question is like
objections are.
The only question, and the way you said it too, like, even me, I sell this stuff. I'm like, damn, this sounds kind of expensive, to be honest with you. Yeah. But then, like, so my next question is like, yeah, how much is that? And it's like,
that's fantastic.
$700, $800, $1,000. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be $700. But tell you what, Corey, you're a nice guy. We've always get along. Your headlights are a little foggy. I'm going to throw those in for you, and I'm going to take care of the touch-ups as well. Normally, that's like $250 extra, but your car's not that bad. You always want to tell somebody their car's not that bad because they got a story for every scratch. You'd be like, this isn't that bad. You should have seen this one I had last time. Even if it's the biggest pile of crap you've ever seen, lie. No, this isn't bad. Don't worry. That's not your fault. These car washes at the Husky, they tell you they're good for it. They're not. Don't go to touchless car washes. That's like spraying yourself with Axe body spray and standing in front of a fire hydrant and going, look, I showered. Don't do that. Well, why? It's like, no, man, it's worse. You're better off just wash it. Leave the car dirty. You're safer.
Leave the car dirty. You're safer. That's good. I mean, you gotta end on that, dude.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the things.
I had a whole list of things I wanted to get to, but we got to none of them. So you're all welcome for that.
I'm having a feeling that people that listen and mentioned it down in the comment section. If you want follow-ups, if you want more information, post up some questions that you want answered. And I think we should do this again in a couple months. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah. No, that was great.
Perfect.
I personally learned a lot. And I know if I learned a lot, I know those guys out there that were taking notes too. I took a lot of notes. I usually don't take that many notes on podcasts. I've done 150 podcasts. I I learned a lot, and now I'm probably going to call you more often, Ryan. So I feel bad that I haven't. I feel bad that I haven't more. Like I feel like
there's so many of you out there. You guys got my phone number. If you don't, reach out to Alex or Nick. And if there's anybody that's sort of on the fence, or even if you're not part of RestorFX and you just want to be like, you know what, I really listen. Can you explain more about this? Give me a call. Give me a call or email me.
Yeah, you're doing yourself a disservice by not calling Ryan, dude.
Yeah. And I think Ryan Brewer and I, we have a podcast now. We're sponsored by RestorFX. We're basically kind of switching off RestorFX kind of podcast and then a non-RestorFX. We just had Matt Moore on, I think was the last one, and then we have other people coming on. It's not all RestorFX, kind of flip-flopping back and forth, but people, I think kind of we've had it mentioned a couple of times, like we're kind of fanboys of RestorFX. But this is why, is because like all the people that work at RestorFX are the caliber of like Ryan K in their own way. Like if I literally, the amount of times I had an issue applying to a car and I would send a picture or a video or something to Alex and he had the answer every time is like crazy. Like everyone has their own. This is why when people look at us like, God, these guys like talk about RestorFX a lot, is because we're just impressed. So kudos to you and all the other, people that, Alex and all the guys that started it and everything, because every time we talk to one of you guys, whether it's on a podcast or separately, we're impressed. I don't know how else to say it. Do you agree, Brewer? I mean, that's the thing, right? It's just
that's it. It's pretty hard to impress me now in this industry. Yeah. And I was impressed the first time I saw the product. So
yeah. And I mean, the guys that chose to host their podcast too. I mean, it's everybody they pick is just.
We had a very limited budget with that, but we're grateful. But it's just, look at it this way.
You found the lead eyes.
You host the podcast because you want to help other people, right? You like training them, and this is the way to reach the most possible as quick as possible. All this knowledge is doing me no benefit at all on my own, except for running my own center. I love taking it and just even the way, Ryan's eyes were lighting up as I was saying certain things, and it's going to shift how you look at your entire business score. That little stuff, that I love doing that. I absolutely love it. People don't, if I start talking about it, my wife's sick of hearing it. I need other people to listen because she's like, oh God, not this again. Right. So I need other people to listen. So call me so I can share it. I got it all. I understand the dealership from front to back. I'm still in touch with all the news. I'm NADA. I have 5 friends NADA trained, 3 dealer principal owners. I'm always in contact with everybody, and I love the industry. If you have any questions, please email me, reach out.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on. That's great.
No, it's a pleasure, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Masters of Recon podcast. If you got any value from the show, then please subscribe and share the show to your favorite social media platform.